Do you think as a business owner you need to keep receipts? Do you really think as a business owner that, you need to keep records? Well, the IRS is going to say yes to that question. Hey there, my name's Kenner French with vastsolutionsgroup.com. We do tax finance and artificial intelligence to help entrepreneurs to better themselves, really better their situation, hopefully to spend more time doing the things they enjoy. And one, I'm sure, is not their books and checking their receipts, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, it's very, very important. By the way, how do we know this stuff? We've been in business since 1969. And we have three bookkeepers on board who help entrepreneurs with their books. You may, by the way, you can choose any record keeping system you want, which is nice. The business you're in, it affects the type of records you're in, by the way. You might have to keep, very little records for a certain business, whereas another business you'd have to keep a lot of records. It really depends on the situation. But in general, yes, you do have to keep some records. Some businesses choose, to use whatever electronic accounting software programs, or some use just kind of more simple programs. But you have to have something, generally speaking, to track all your expenses. Now let's go over some of the expenses and deductions, and the paperwork and all the fine print that is mandated by the IRS. Purchases, sales, payroll, and other transactions you have in your business will generate supporting documents. There's just no doubt. Supporting documents, they can include whatever: sales slips, paid bills, invoices, receipts, deposit slips, and canceled checks. These docs contain the information you need to record in your books. It's important to keep these documents because they support the entries in your books and on your return, more importantly on your return. So you should keep them in an orderly fashion and in a true safe place. For instance, organize them by year at a minimum, then probably by the income, and then by the expense, probably underneath the correct entity. And what I should note is, really what you should do is be incommunicado with your bookkeeper, with your tax provider, with your tax professional, so they can help you. They know your situation better than anyone. Or if you have some questions, again, we have three bookkeepers. We know how to, we've been in business for a while, so we know exactly what's going on when it comes to bookkeeping. So we can probably help you. But I'm just saying, probably go to your existing relationships, and that would be your bookkeeper. And hopefully you do have a bookkeeper, by the way, because sometimes it can get pretty complex in some of these transactions that are going on now. So let's go over some of the types of records you should keep. Gross receipts, or the income you receive from your business. Obviously, you should keep supporting documents that show the amount and sources of your gross receipts. If you have them, cash register receipts, deposit information, cash and credit sales, receipt books if you have those, invoices, Form 1099s, and if they're miscellaneous or what have you. Purchases, by the way, are the items that you buy and resell to customers. So if you're a manufacturer or producer, this would include the cost of materials or maybe parts purchased. Your supporting documents, by the way, should also identify the payee, the amount paid, proof of payment, the date incurred, and also include a description of the item, just to show that the amount was, what it was for. It was for purchases, etc. Documents and purchases include, let's go over that, the following: canceled checks and other documents reflecting proof of payment, or electronic funds that were transferred, cash registered receipts, credit card receipts and statements, invoices. Now, this is a big thing. Let's go over the expenses, because people think, what do I need as far as expenses? Your supporting documents should really identify at a minimum the payee, the person you're paying, the amount paid, proof of payment, the date that it was incurred, and include a description of the item purchased or service that was received that shows the amount that where the expense was for. Documents for expenses, let's include some very specific documents for expenses: canceled checks and other documents reflecting the proof payment. Again, cash registered receipts, account statements, credit card receipts, and maybe statements, and invoices. Now, what about a lot of people ask us about travel, transportation, entertainment, and gift expenses for business. If you deduct travel, entertainment, gift, or transportation expenses, you must be able to provide substantive certain elements of the expenses. Now, usually that category, travel, transportation, entertainment, and gifts or expenses, that will pop up. People will ask about that, meaning an auditor, if you're ever audited, they will ask about the travel, transportation, entertainment, and gift expenses. Now, if you really need more information about, we can get a crazy amount of detail there, but go to what's called publication 463, I believe, at the irs.gov website. They will go over there. It will go over travel, entertainment, et cetera, and deductible expenses for your bookkeeping, et cetera. Assets, by the way, are the properties such as, machinery, furniture that you own and use in your business. You must keep records to verify certain information. When and how you acquired the assets, by the way, purchase price, cost of any improvement, thing called Section 179. Usually you could touch base with your attorney about that. Or sorry, with your attorney or CPA, I should say. Deductions taken for depreciation and deductions taken for, casualty losses, if there are any. How you use the asset, when and how you disposed of the asset, and that's important. This is getting a little nitty gritty, but it's worth noting all this stuff. Selling price, expenses for sale, purchases and sale invoices, and real estate closing statements. So here's a big one. People are asking us about employment tax. They need to keep the employment tax information. They answer that, yeah, specific employment tax records. You must keep those. We say keep them for at least 4 years, but really 7. Really, if there are potentially any problems down the road with some of them, there are issues with employees, that might even be as long as 10 to 15 years. So hopefully this is kind of basically, what's the best way to say it? Hopefully this has kind of shown some light on what you have to do as a bookkeeper, or really as an entrepreneur, as far as your books go. I've said it a couple of times. I'm going to say it one last time. Talk to someone who is doing your books, who knows your situation. If they can't help you, there's communication. They're not advanced enough. We can help you. We work with entrepreneurs all over the country. We have affiliate offices all over the country. We should be able to help you with your bookkeeping issues. We have some senior people here that help with the bookkeeping. My name's Kenner French at vastsolutionsgroup.com. Stop by. I'm a click away on the internet. Same thing for any of our staff. We're here to help, but hopefully this has been valuable, and who knows, maybe it's added some value. It's going to hopefully make you that much more rich. Thanks for staying tuned. Kenner French, I'm out.